Hey guys, so I feel like I was just vlogging because, as I said in the last video, I was going to do it all today. So I successfully passed my NASM NASM Certified Personal Trainer exam. So I just want to talk about the test, how it was, things about it, how I studied, etc., and why I chose NASM. So for a while, for about a year, I was looking into ISSA, and I was like, I think I want to do this one. It's kind of cheaper, seems a little more affordable. I hadn't really looked into a ridiculous overabundance of other ones, and I was working at LA Fitness, and a trainer said to me, you know, you really should look into a bunch, but I recommend NASM. So I stumbled across NASM on Facebook. I saw like this or whatever, some of my friends had liked it or whatever, so I clicked on NASM and looked into it, and the prices were like ridiculous, like so high. But I typed in my email address or whatever and got like the 12 free day, which actually I don't think I ever got, but whatever, it was like a free trial or something. Typed in my email, got an email, someone called me and they were like, hi, like we saw that you were interested, we can offer you $200 off and no money down. I was like, okay, like that sounds good. And they were like, we also have a payment plan. And then I was like, alright, I'm gonna call you right back. So I looked into all the other ones. I looked into AFAA before they were with NASM, ACSM, ACE, ISSA, and I think that was it. I got like 4 or 5 different ones before choosing NASM. And then I looked into what gyms I could coach at, I could train at, and NASM had the most. NASM had Gold and World and Retro and Planet and LA Fitness and Powerhouse, Eclipse, Equinox, like all the gyms that are around me, they had. We pretty much have big gyms here, but at school we have Powerhouse and Eclipse, and here we have Planet there too, and we have Planet, Retro, we have Unique too, but that's where I go. But I don't know what they do with trainers. I'm not looking to look there. That is how I landed on NASM. I did the second to highest one, which I ended up getting a lot of money off. Like I think I got like $400 or $500 off of it, and then I ended up paying $75 to $100 a month. I don't remember which one it was, for 10 months I think it was. So it really made it a lot easier for me that I wouldn't have to upfront pay like $1,000, even though I don't think it was $1,000, but however much it was. I chose NASM. It was the most convenient for me. It had the most options. They don't say it's gold standard, but in my eyes it is the gold standard because it's accepted everywhere, and they cover so many bases during the exam and during like the course. So I did the second to highest one because I thought it was really cool that I could go to this master class. That was like the selling point for me. That and the retest, which obviously I didn't need, but both of those were offered. And it was a good deal because just to retake the test is $600, which is a lot. So if you have that retest, you want to pass obviously the first time, but if you don't, it's not the worst thing in the world because you do have the retest. So in order to get the retest, so you have to be doing the online class. And there's an online class that they use Moodle, which I use for my school, so like I was accustomed to Moodle. It gives you PowerPoints each week. You have to write a response to the question that the trainer puts on the forum. You also have to respond to the other people. So that's pretty much your assignment, which really isn't that bad. I will be honest with you, I didn't do it. I did all the PowerPoints. I would read through them, take the quiz, and then go on to the next one. But I was a week behind because I was doing it while I was in school. I mean, like, being a student and doing it at the same time is very difficult. I don't recommend it. I would say do it over the summer or do it over the summer and do it when you graduate, because unless you have like a light course load, which I don't, I guess it's no big deal, but I do not have a light course load. So it was very hard for me, but I did it, and if you think that you can do it, do it. I mean, I did it, but it was a lot of work, and it was very stressful, and I feel like a whole different person now that I'm done with it. Like, I am so relaxed and calm. Okay, pointless, but here is what I say. You get the textbook, which honestly, like, this is really all you need. You really only need the textbook. I think you could do the self-study if you wanted to. I did the e-teach one just because I just wanted the extra things, and I wanted to go to the master class in the city, and I thought that would be like cool, and I thought that was good to have the retest, even though I didn't need it. But yeah, I really liked it. I was really excited about it. It wasn't the highest one, it was the second highest one. I know that so definitely I would say read the textbook. I read the whole textbook front cover to back. Not over like the 6-month period that I had. I would read it, like my first day I got the textbook, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get this done, I'm gonna try to do it in 3 months. No, it didn't happen. So I have been reading it for the past week, pretty much. Like I wanted to read it again, even though I've already read it. Chapter 2 is what I really focused on a lot. I'm not really strong in sciences to begin with, and it's a lot of anatomy, but more so like the heart was hard for me. I'll go over what you need to know. So I have all the things that were hard for me marked, which this is just important. This one says heart rate, so I could just open to the heart rate training zone section of the book. I highlighted and wrote all over my book. Like my book is highlighted and post-it noted, and it's just like I took full advantage of being able to write in it. And some things that I'm just gonna go over, like the things that that you guys need to know. I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, if I had to say how hard it was, I would say it was about a 5. Only because I knew what I was talking about, and I didn't think that I did. If that makes sense. Like I was second guessing myself, but I knew the information. I knew all of it. And the only thing that was confusing me was the research questions. There's 20, I believe, research questions, either 15 or 20 research questions, and you can I could tell which ones were research questions. So I was like, okay, this is not in my textbook. I did not read this. Some psychology questions on there too. I think those were research questions. I'm not positive. Don't quote me on that. But I knew them because I'm a psychology major. So the things that you need to focus on for the exam. So the things that you need to focus on for the exam that I think that are the most important are, I wrote them down that way I could remember all of them. Autogenic inhibition, synergistic dominance, reciprocal inhibition, altered reciprocal inhibition, arthrokinetic inhibition, and dysfunction. Those all kind of go together. They're in the same section of the textbook. I would know the definition of those and make sure you can tell the difference between them, because that was the first question on my test, and it was throughout the whole thing. You need to know that. It's very important. It is in the textbook. It's all in the same section. That's why I went over it. I'm not gonna say it again. You also need to know muscles as movers, like the agonist, the antagonist, the synergist, and the stabilizer. It's kind of interesting because you'll see them say synergist in the question, and then synergistic dominance will be the answer. Not always, but there is a question that is in the practice test that also, we'll go over that. The overhead squat, the single leg squat, the pulling and pushing assessments. You need to know the compensations for those. I know that seems kind of hard, but the way that I studied it, I'll show you. I'll open it to the textbook. Well, whatever. I wrote it down because I wanted to be able to see it all. So the overhead squat is here. That's how the chart looks. If you guys should have seen it if you're taking it. So the way that I did it was with the overhead squat and the single leg squat, the knees moving in are the same compensations. So I remembered those together. Then in the pushing assessment, the lumbopelvic hip complex is the lower back arches. That's the compensation, and the overactive and underactive muscles are the same minus a few as the overhead squat LPHC. So pretty much like I just used it to match up the different ones so I could memorize once and be like, oh, the compensation of the lower back arches, this is overactive, this is underactive, and then like that really helped me. And I watched a few YouTube videos too, which made it a little bit easier. Like they would say, another way that they would word those questions about the compensations would be, what if the what muscle should be stretched, or what muscle should be strengthened. If it needs to be strengthened, then it's an underactive muscle. If it needs to be stretched, it's an overactive muscle. So that really helped me to hear someone talk about it and just listen. That was really helpful. You also need to know the heart rate zones. It's pretty simple. It's not that big of a deal. Just know your heart rate zones and like the different things that fall into each. You need to know the heart. You need to know special populations, obese and overweight, what muscles help the lungs in breathing, and the OPT model and stretching. You should definitely, obviously you need to know the OPT model, but the stretching element of it is very, very important, and you definitely need to know that. So just some other things that I want to touch upon really quick about the CPT exam. I use apps that I will show you guys that were super helpful. This one in particular, I'll get nice and close. This one here, that little guy. It's by MedPreps. I'll show you. MedPreps. Ignore. And then I updated to the premium, I think it's called. I don't know. Whatever. It was $5, so I updated to it. And I'm really glad that I did because I got like 300 or 600 questions. I don't know, one of the two. And a lot of the questions that I saw on there were also on the test itself. So that was on there. And then also practice tests that I was given from NASM. That was really helpful. There were some questions on there that were on the test, but don't really rely on the practice questions and the practice test too much. I did the practice test twice. One yesterday, 2 days ago morning, and then at night. And then I just wrote down whatever questions that I got wrong, and I read over that stuff again, and I made sure that I would focus on that more so than the things that I had already focused on earlier. And then on the quiz thing, I would do like one section at a time because it lets you break it down. I'll show you. Like, you can break down each section in each chapter, kind of. See, you can break them down into assessment, movement science, nutrition, supplementation, professional development, program design, training concepts, etc., etc., etc. You can break it down into any one of those, which is helpful and really nice that you can kind of just go in and focus on whatever you are unsure of or anything that you know that you might need a little extra help in. So definitely don't rely on the questions. Make sure you know the information rather than memorizing the questions and the answers, because that's going to be more important in the long run and on the test, because they will reword the questions pretty much. I was very nervous because people say how hard it is and how many people fail, and a lot of people do fail, so if you fail, don't feel bad about it. I was 100% positive I was failing, and I did. I just did that to myself. I made myself really nervous, and like I really didn't have much reason to be, but I just made myself really nervous for no reason. So that's my little tidbit on the NASM exam, and I hope that helps you guys. I hope it's helpful, and if you guys have any other questions, I don't really think there's anything else I need to go over. Then the fact that you don't bring anything to the exam unless you are going with someone. My dad went with me. He drove me there and stayed with me. It only took me about an hour. You have 120 minutes to do it, and I was done within 30 minutes, which I'm just a really quick test taker. So I flew through it, went over it again, changed a few answers. I marked some things and then went back to them. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I definitely recommend going over your answers again. Don't change too many though. Like, that's my thing. Like, I was going over and I was like, you know what, if I go over it again, I'm gonna change my answers, I'm gonna regret it. So don't bring anything with you. You don't need anything. It's all on the computer. You have to bring your CPR AED form and your ID, and then that you can like keep on you. So yeah, I hope that helps. And I am, as I said in my last video, I am offering training now. If you're interested, please email me. I will put my email on the bottom here. 8-week or 12-week customized training is what I'm offering, and macro coaching if you just want help with your macros. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and I hope it is helpful for everyone taking your exam, and good luck on your exams.